Los Angeles, California is having another wave of street takeovers where the LAPD seems unable to get it quickly under control. Karen Bass is, oh my God. Thank God I got out of there, man. Holy crap.
Los Angeles has officially...
Another decoy voice videos. I love this guy's video.
The only thing wrong with Los Angeles, is the stupid fucking suburban housing. The non-stop zone, the suburban nightmare zone, okay? That's what's wrong with LA, okay? And probably the police department.
I love how, like, to the point.
Decoy voice, right? The guy that is totally not a right-winger, right? Like this guy's totally not a right-winger. Dude. I can't believe people have told me, like, this guy's not a right-winger. It's crazy. I hate his voice. It really is. Dude, I hate his voice, too, because it's so fake. That's why, all right? Like, again, I'm pretty sure I demonstrated at some point that decoy voice. Like, he's, like, faking his voice. Nobody sounds like this, dude. It's the saddest suburbs ever. Box lawns, no woods. Yeah.
The point and fast they are, like, I love it.
Become third world living at first world prices.
So, I'm just gonna say this again, okay? I'm gonna say this again. People like decoy voice. Sorry, I said decoy right, like... Sorry, that was a Freudian slip, okay? That was a Freudian slip. That was actually genuinely a Freudian slip, okay? Decoy right, yes. Oh my gosh, that's such a good... Oh, fuck. Did I just Freudian slip out a perfect nickname for him? Decoy right. Decoy right. Decoy right. He's now decoy right. He's not decoy right. Okay. Dude, I'm a fucking... My subconscious is a fucking genius. Holy shit. Okay, so this is what he does, okay? He's like... So, if I were to sound regular, like, if I was decoy right and I just used my regular voice, I would sound like this. But what? But, like... if I really wanted to sound like this... Yep, there you go.
As early Saturday morning, a group of 50 vandals were allowed to take over the streets, not only attacking the trains, but the responding police officers as well.
What was captured on video over the weekend, people targeting stores.
That's how I always felt about Corpse Husband. Seems Forrest. No, I'm pretty sure he actually has a throat disease. I'm pretty sure, like, acid reflux has damaged his throat too so much to the point where he can reach voices that are astronomically low or something. He's probably gonna die of throat cancer though, so you know, I mean, it all equals out.
Stores, metro trains.
You know what we need, guys? I think we need some more rooftop Koreans. We need a rooftop Korean squad. That's what we need.
And police cars with graffiti and vandalism is just the latest act of chaos that's been going on for months. He says about 15 to 20 underground parties happen every weekend, with police and businesses struggling to keep track.
Now,
how did they let this happen? How is this possible? Oh my.
One party promoter, not any person granting access to...
Round up all of these people and make them pick up trash and clean graffiti. Do it. Honestly, yeah. Forced labor. Yeah, 100%.
Space to be used has been held accountable.
LAPD officers were lined up in riot gear, fired rubber bullets after multiple warnings to...
Call it slavery if you want.
But who the hell are these people anyway? Like... Hold on. LA riots. LA riots 2025. Oh, anti-ICE. Oh, anti-ICE. They're anti-ICE stuff. Anti-ICE protests take over 101 freeway in LA. The second one. Yeah, honestly, I don't blame them. Fuck. Although, to be fair, you know, I'm not going to support, like, this crazy vandalism shit. But, like, fuck. I mean, fuck. Things are kind of fucked right now, so I guess.
Don't care.
Clear this area. No one was hurt, but several businesses and metro trains were damaged. There were no...
I don't define that as slavery, but if you want to call it that, then fine, go ahead.
Arrests.
But it is slavery, whatever.
No, make them clean this shit up. They did this. They fucked up all this shit.
Oh, like cleaning up after their own mess? Yeah, I guess.
They should clean it.
Businesses and metro trains were damaged. There were no arrests.
We cannot do this. We cannot do this in our city. And it has to be stopped. We have to be very...
I'm the mayor, but somebody needs to do something about this. You guys know that you're paying for this. You're paying for this woman. You know that, right? You're paying her for this.
very aggressive about it.
The government is the fucking worst. The worst.
Because we will never send a signal that maybe this is acceptable behavior.
This is coming from the mayor that just sent the signal. You can destroy entire sections of the city and nobody will be arrested. As previously they allowed LA to be destroyed over social justice in other parts of
I pity whoever is in the position of city mayor, because you're always going to be looked at as a scapegoat. Like, I'm sorry. It's just like, it's really, really hard to control a mega city. Okay? Whenever somebody goes after like a massive metropolitan, like massive metro city, all right, that shit is incredibly hard to manage. Okay? All right, like the kind of stuff that goes down in these cities is crazy. All right, crazy. A lot of things you do not have control over. All right. When you put yourself in that position, it's like the sword of Damocles, right? It's a story where if you are the king, you have a sword that's hanging above your head with a string attached to the sword, right? So even though you get all the wealth and prestige, anyone can cut the string and send the sword toppling down through your head. So this is the reason that story exists is because the leader typically always takes the blame for everything. So yeah. Binding of Isaac reference, let's go. No. It's an actual Greek story. It's like a Greek myth story, is it not?
America, and then perceive social injustice and other
Like if she denounces the violence, that's sometimes all they can do, really, right? I think a better way of looking at the situation is, what kind of options do the mayor have, right? That's it, right? Like, what kind of options do the mayor actually have, right?
countries oceans away. But now these
It's in Binding of Isaac too. Yeah, sure. The towns they hail as good old conservatives are just methed out people with rundown buildings and no job opportunities. Yeah. Well, that's number one. But number two as well, right? Number two is in these countryside, rural towns, okay? When somebody is killed, they find the nearest black person to blame for the crime. It's happened before. It has happened multiple times. All right, in these small towns that are supposedly close-knit community and stuff, whenever something goes down, all right, it's just like, it's crazy. All right, listen, it's not as good as you think. Also, by the way, coming from somebody who graduated from an Ohio university, okay? Coming from somebody who graduated from OSU, okay? I can say this much, all right? A lot of people who are my fellow students, formerly fellow students, all right, who grew up in small towns in Ohio, the most conservative, the most rural, the most like the most conservative, the most rural places, okay? They hate it there, okay? They hate it there, okay? It's like the most boring, nothing burger, nothing ever happens. All right, no excitement, no young people, cranky, weird old people, perverts. All right, just, like, because people like painting cities, like people like Leaflit, they paint cities as like crime central. All right, crime central. Well, that's where all the economics happen. Crime is going to happen where all the economics happen. All right. So it's kind of like a pros and cons thing, right? You can't just have all the pros without some of the cons. But with these small conservative towns, they never last because instead of having crime, they just have joblessness and taking money from the government, right? Like, some of the biggest welfare payouts are to like smaller towns, not to cities. Cities are generally like economic powerhouses that generate a surplus of money that goes to small towns of other states, that in the end, they are the ones that are leeching off of California. They are the ones that are leeching off of massive economies, right? Yeah. So, like, maybe sometimes consider that even if you don't like cities, maybe at least consider cities to be like a necessary evil, right? More than anything else. Even when there's like 5 black people in town, they still blame them. Yeah, exactly. Right? Fuck.
These idiots don't even need a reason, they're just allowed to take over the city whenever they can get enough of them together. Because we saw plenty of riot officers lined up to detain at least a handful of them, but apparently the mayor never gave the green light to actually
We need some military grade asmongold. That's what we need. Military grade.
do it, as the optics of aggressive arrests over what she perceives as property crimes isn't within her liberal policies. As other parts of the state have proven, they can quickly shut down these takeovers by rounding up, arresting anybody, and impounding any car involved. It seems pretty harsh to lose your car, but the alternative is to lose civil society whenever the lawless horde gets bored, as police weakness is becoming a known issue with this city.
Just came home from my son's baseball game tonight to this. We had a break-in in our house. It's not cool, and I'll tell you what else. I was on hold with 911 for 59 minutes. Luckily, the police, when they did show up, came. They were very nice, but they mentioned how undermanned they are, and that's a problem.
And this isn't just a one-off incident. I lived
I'm not, look, maybe this is happening in LA, maybe something is going down in LA, okay? But when my car got stolen, okay, when my car got stolen and I called the police station, I didn't even call 911, by the way, okay? I didn't even call 911. I called the police station, like the number, all right? I got in instantly, okay? I don't know what's going on in LA. Maybe it's because LA is a big, city, but, I called San Jose Police Department, okay? Pretty base people, all right? Cool people. Got in with them pretty quick. So, like the thing is that they're using LA as a bad example, all right? Because LA is a liberal city. If you really want to force the meaning of a liberal city, all right? Why not look at cities on average? Why specifically hone in on one of the biggest cities in the world? In the world, right? That's like saying, oh, how much crime occur, how much crazy things occur in Tokyo, right? Jesus, right? Decoy voice reminds me so much of the glasses YouTuber guy who crashed out and then replaced himself with AI. Oh. I'm not entirely sure what you're talking about, but I kind of get your idea though. Urban cities mean you meet a lot of people. Urban cities mean you see some crazy people. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, again, it's like this is the pros and cons that you kind of take. You give and take when it comes to urban cities, like you can't have both. You can't be an economic powerhouse without having crime, okay? You can't have an economic powerhouse without having a few broken glass windows, all right? People need to learn what is an emergency and what is calling a cop. I think it's okay to call 911 for a broken glass window, although to be fair, okay, 911 is like if somebody is in immediate danger or something. I don't know, dude. But like I can kind of see it. I think you can be justified in calling 911 there. It took 59 minutes for the cops to arrive. Perhaps because there are people who are choking, people who's bleeding, people who are this and that. Yeah, I agree with that. Typically, maybe it's during a time in which like the police is preoccupied. Like, I'm sorry that the police can't be there all the time. Right?
there for over a decade, and in my last years there,
Me too, man.
I remember seeing a transient knocked out with a syringe in his arm, laying in the street outside my business. I called 911, who connects me to fire, who says they can't respond without the police. But then the police say they need me to personally detain this unconscious person for the police to respond. And when I told them I wasn't willing to do that, PD hung up, fire hung up, and 911 did nothing. And not just
Wait, did he say that dispatch told him to detain the person himself? What was that supposed to be like a real joke? Also, her model is glitching out. Like one of her eyes is like half closed. It looks weird.
We're paying for this, guys. We're literally paying for this.
I'm okay. Wait, I'm not entirely. Wait, what did he just say?
that with a syringe in his arm, laying in the street outside my business. I called 911, who connects me to fire, who says they can't.
Wait, hold on. Is he telling like a personal story or is he making an exaggeration? I'm a little confused here.
And they are. And That's a problem.
And this isn't just a one-off incident. I lived there for over a decade, and in my last years there,
Me too, man.
I remember seeing a transient knocked out with a syringe in his arm, laying in the street outside my business. I called 911, who connected.
Okay, I'm calling cap. Not only is it an anecdote, but cap, okay? No authority, literally no authority is going to tell you to detain somebody on your own, okay? Nobody, dude, what? I'm sorry, but whenever I had to deal with the police, do you know what they tell me? Never deal with dangerous individuals on your own. Potentially dangerous individuals on your own. Never, ever, 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 ever do that. You always hide if they're dangerous. Or you don't touch them. You don't mess with them. All right? Until you can have the authorities come over. Right? I call cap. This is cap. All right, this is what we call in the professional industry cap. All right.
Connects me to fire, who says they can't respond without the police.
Also, what the fuck do you mean? You call 911 and you call like the firefighters? What? Why is the fire department picking up? What do you mean? Wait, hold on. When you call 911, you get phoned to a 911 operator. A 911 operator, okay? The 911 operator isn't the cop. They aren't the firefighter. They aren't the police. They're an operator. They're like a phone person who's trained.
But then the police say they need me to personally detain this unconscious person for the police to respond. And
this is a lie.
When I told them I wasn't willing to do that, PD hung up, fire hung up, and 911 did nothing.
What the fuck? You mean the 911 dispatcher hung up? You don't mean the cops, right? You don't mean the cops or the firefighter or anybody. You mean the 911 phone operator.
And not just...
We're paying for this, guys. We're literally paying for this.
Dude, and you believe him? Dude, you're like 40. You're like 40. Don't you have enough life experience to know that he's lying? What the fuck, dude? Like, please, just stop falling for this stuff. It's like, it's clearly a fake story.
Do you see why I hate taxes? I hate them because, like, just let me take care of it then.
LAPD, but even the CHP, when an...
No one is telling you to detain people on your own. No one is doing that. Okay, no one's telling you to deal to what? Dude, what?
Old Asian man falling asleep on the freeway hit my car and didn't even notice. I called 911.
This totally happened, guys. This is 100%. Wow, this totally happened, guys. Totally.
Wait, did he? Hold on. Did he use AI to make these?
He did use AI to make these. Yes, I noticed that.
I can't tell. I actually can't. With this art style, it's kind
No, I can tell. I can tell. It's AI.
of hard to tell. I don't know if
Like, you really think he commissioned people for every one of his slop videos? You really think he commissioned people for every single one of these? Of course you can't tell. You're old. You're 50. I know. I know. I know. Leaflit is like pushing 60.
he did.
Again, and they just told me don't follow him even though he's a risk to everybody else, but just go to the nearest CHP station to file a report. And if you've been watching this channel for long enough, I've told countless stories of LA coppers that at best could care less, and at worst actually seem fearful of the criminals. But as long as crime stats can appear to decline, they don't care what actually happens to the citizens. As Los Angeles is broke, but the mayor is continuing to cut back on public safety, possibly
She's not that old. She's 30-something. Dude, the easy for you to say about somebody who's pushing 70.
laying off LAPD civilian employees. As we just saw the effects of this with the wildfires that destroyed the city, where people were wondering why there were so many fire trucks unavailable to fight the fires, but they just cut all the employees.
If she had any self-decency, she had any sort of self-respect, she would immediately She would do the Japanese thing and basically just not take a salary.
Employees that repair those fire trucks, amongst several other failures for fire safety.
No, not commit seppuku, guys. God.
Wasn't the one Japanese game company that didn't take a salary was like a CEO billionaire person? Wasn't that person the billionaire person? So like not taking a salary to make a public PR statement is like not that costly. Like how much do you think, is she talking about the mayor? If she's talking about the mayor, mayors only make like 6 digits, right? Like 150, 200,000. That's still not enough to like just simply not take a salary, right? Like, I don't know, if you have a family to support.
I wasn't gonna go that far.
So freezing police hires and laying off non-sworn personnel doesn't mean the police have less to do. It just means taking action.
Okay, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I can see why you thought.
Dude, I bet I can do a good impression of Decoy voice, dude. Hold on. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I can't do it.
I see. I see why you thought that. Okay.
Foodshops, maybe you should look into your chat overlay and see a list of emojis or something. I'm lazy. Okay, fine.
Fair enough, guys. Fair enough. But that's not what I was talking about.
Police off the street to complete tasks that should be much cheaper to do. But as long as Mayor Bass can continue her anti-police policies, she could care less on what happens to the actual citizens that will suffer. As back to the wildfires, where Governor Newsom seemed to dance when talking about the damage, with the mayor straight up lying about how fast the residents will be able to rebuild. 4 months later, she's now bragging about a single house, barely starting construction, surrounded by at least 10 empty lots of rubble. As it really seems they're going to use the fires as a land grab.
Every dwelling in Malibu has a separate septic system. And these houses in front, many of them were built in the 40s, in the 50s, in the 60s, and the codes were almost non-existent. And they're going to have to update the septic system, which means Coastal Commission, Ocean, Sierra Club, dig it all out. And because of the proximity of the ocean, they're going to have to build seawalls. So they're going to be several $1 million into stuff that's buried in the ground. Do you know how much bureaucracy, red tape, and permits worth of nightmare this is going to be?
It has Adam Carolla. I love Adam Carolla stuff, by the way. Highly recommend. Like, dude, you know Adam Carolla predicted all of this? Like, he's like a modern day Nostradamus. Did you guys know that? Guys, this was 14 years ago.
Jimmy Kimmel kicking around potential titles.
$14 years ago?
And other complaints from an angry middle-aged white.
That's the name of his book, and this was 14 years ago. He's a little fast on that prediction. It was a lot faster.
Dude, this is some boomer stuff, dude. She is 100% 80 years old. She's pushing 80. She has to be pushing 80, dude.
Than that, a little bit less than 50 years, but
guy joining us now.
I read this book. This book's actually really good.
Oh, the man himself.
I highly recommend it, by the way. I love this book.
It's going to take 50 years?
No, actually. But I wrote the book 20 years ago. So
okay.
And the good part, Adam, is you're fresh as a daisy. You got your 12 hours of sleep last night.
Yeah, you look great.
I know.
Yeah, he's the man show guy that was on there with Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah.
I took a train in from Philadelphia at 5 a.m. this morning.
After 2 shows and a book signing
last night.
Can I recommend you a book? Yeah, sure. You can recommend me anything, Bookle. All right? Because I know it'll come from you, and I know it'll be good. All right? Okay, all right. Leaf's gonna be pushing 300 by the time this video ends. Well, she's pushing 90, right? So
do that. That hurts.
I remember this.
Atomic Habits by James Clear. Good self-help. Okay, never mind. I'm kidding. Okay, maybe. What can you simulate?
Show because it was before South Park. So like it was like my South Park waiting room.
Money.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
If you nod off,
honest.
we'll try not to be offended when
it had girls jumping on trampolines.
Pass out during the interview. So how are we going to turn into chicks?
Well, the book title, well, first off, it's a book. It's got a bunch of funny jokes in it and essays and stories and stuff like that. You have to give something a title. I know this isn't show business, but you can't just go, hey, it's a bunch of funny crap Adam thinks about.
They used to say like I don't remember. It was like Ziggy Zuggy or something. They're like, Ziggy Zuggy, Ziggy Zuggy. Oi, oi, oi. They used to say that. They like drink beer. Yeah, I remember that.
When he's driving.
I really liked South Park. I highly recommend the audiobook. It's better. It's actually better than the regular than the physical like paper like Dead Tree book. The reason
Distills the most fundamental information about habit formation so you can accomplish more by focusing on less. Oh, nice. Cool.
why is because the audiobook is actually narrated by him, by Adam Carolla, and he goes off script a lot. Like, it's funny because like the actual audiobook is not even a direct reading of the book. Like he'll read it, but he'll tangent sometimes. So it's actually
Well, that sounds like a crappy audiobook. Like, what the fuck? If I want an audiobook or something, I don't want like the reader's commentary. What the fuck?
it's
dude?
great. It's amazing. Anyway, I'm a huge Adam Carolla fan. Like, actually, like I love
What?
his work.
What?
He also has another book called I'm Your
Won't live VTubers always creep me out? I mean, I guess one thing I'm always wondering about is like, why is this like person who's pushing 100 like having a lolly VTuber? Like, you know, we all have to get old sometimes.
Emotional
right?
support animal. I also recommend that one. And basically his books are just memeing about like how ridiculous society has gotten. It's just basically commentary, but like comedy commentary. Like him just like
It's a mom and daughter thing. I don't see it as a mom and daughter thing. Like, it's just like I'm sorry, where is your mom? Like if this channel is a mom and daughter channel, where's your mom? Like, all we have is you. Right? Where's your mom? You can't advertise this as a mom and daughter thing without your mom. You're just turning it into an orphan channel. What the fuck is wrong
being
with
like,
you?
this is so stupid. Like, it's fucking hilarious. And just him laughing at like all of this stupid stuff.
You
Where's your
have the
mom?
last house standing on Malibu Beach. It was singed by the fires. It was not leveled. Very fortunate for you, obviously. But you're hearing rumblings now that those beaches in Malibu, including your house potentially, may be taken by the government under eminent domain.
Property owners that are trying to get covered, that nobody can understand. Why is nothing being done? Why is the beach not being picked up? Why haven't the bore samplings and environmental stuff been done? Why are only
You know my answer whenever somebody you know what my answer is to somebody who keeps on asking, why isn't this being done? Why isn't this happening? Why this, why that, right? Do you know what my answer is to that? Find out, bitch. The fuck? Dude, stop asking us. You're supposed to be the one with the answers. What the fuck? Go and find out what to do. What? Why are the politicians so corrupt? Why are X and Y? Why I can't get my dick up during sex with my wife? Why don't my kids love me anymore? Find out. What the fuck? Do your own research.
4 permits been approved in 4 months? And those 4 permits, by the way, Steve, were done before the fires. The talk is now that the state of California is planning to seize the coastline in Malibu.
Between the fires, land grabs, and rampant crime, it almost seems like a coordinated effort to push regular citizens off this prime real estate in LA. And the only thing
It's the Jews. It's the Jews.
worse than being forced out of your own community is the fact that they're using your tax dollars to do it. Why doom scroll on social media all day when you
like
have
the
my
biggest-
concise, lighthearted commentary on the tragic status
Can you
that is
imagine
today's
you're
reality?
paying them for
So
that
subscribe to Decoy Voice.
Remember Hawaii? Nobody in the government does.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. I'm glad Leaflit, listen, at the end of the day, all right, when everything else changes, Leaflit stays the same, okay? We can always go back to Leaflit to relive the good old days of bashing on anti-wokes.